Yeah, and that's how I feel. I have no apology for it. Well, that's all I want to say. I'm done talking, so I just don't want to talk anymore. So
one of those days for real, huh?
Yeah. I just feel sometimes the kids are so dissimilar to me, all three of them. And it doesn't bother me. But it's kind of like you hear about, I take golf, for instance. There's a lot of people that I go to the range and the little 4-year-old is there with the dad because he wants to spend time with the dad, or like the 12-year-old, et cetera. I just feel like our kids aren't like that. I'm going to be Justin, and I've said that before. I'm not trying to cater to what my kid, I want to open the world up to my kids. And do they want to play soccer? Do they want to do crafts, not even sports. Do they want to learn Photoshop? Whatever. What's the world that's open to them? But I hope that at some point they just want to spend time with their mom and dad and do what their mom and dad does, not because they're going to love it, just because they can spend more time with their mom and dad. I just feel like I've tried to open up that world to them, but they don't want to do anything, really. They don't really want to do anything. I think that's another problem that I have with kids today. Not a problem, but this is how it is. Kids, they don't want to ride bikes. They don't want to, climb trees because technology and all these gadgets and everything it makes it easy. So, you don't have to go outside and play and do these manual things you used to do. They have iPads and little gadgets and stuff, and they don't want to do anything.
Correct. Again, I've thought about this. I'm not trying to play devil's advocate on everything you said. It's just funny that you're saying this stuff because I've thought, like I said, in the past couple months, I've thought about all of this stuff, even with the kids doing stuff and things like that. I'm like, when I look at what they do actually do outside, it's like, okay, it's because the things that they want to do, we don't want to get down and draw every color brick chalk. That's what they want to do outside. They want to go outside and color the bricks, different colors, each one over and over. Yeah, and they might not want to go outside and do what we want to do, ride the bikes and golf. But
But we do enough of those things with them. I try to
I'm not
really
saying
do
you
the things.
don't,
Okay, I don't want to go out and play balloons, but I'll play balloons because for 5 minutes because that's what they want to do.
Yes. And so that, and I'm saying we are raising our kids in such a different environment as far as even what we do. You understand the amount of time that they've spent with us, whether it's time that we thought was whatever or not, but they've spent a lot of time with us and a lot of working time, a lot of collaborative time, a lot of, oh my gosh, we got to do this time, and sometimes they're frustrated because they're like, man, we got to do this and we didn't want to do this or we didn't want to say it. That's what I'm saying. I really, really thought about this a lot in the past couple of months. I'm like, you know what? They could be frustrated at times too because we've done a lot together, more than many families. And sometimes it's no, you got to do what we're trying to do right now because we need to get this done. And their frustrations or their thoughts maybe come out in a different way. Like I said, I've thought so much about this. Most people are probably going to work from 8 to 6. And then so they don't see their kids between 8 and 6. And that's from 6 to, I don't know, whatever time before bedtime, but then they see them on the weekends. So yeah, if that's what you get from your mom and dad, you might want to go and do golf when your dad does golf on Saturday because you barely saw them all week.
I don't want to make it seem like I'm missing their company.
No, I'm not. I'm just using that example because that's what you're using. I'm saying even with me, if I'm like, oh, you know what, I want to take you guys out to go this, and they're like, oh, well, I don't really want. I'm like, you know why? Because they literally see me for hours every single day. There's no chance for them to be like, oh, I want to go do whatever you're doing because, I barely saw you this week. I only saw you for an hour each day or whatever it is. They see us so much. And this is probably the least they've seen us because they've been in school full time now. Prior to this, obviously there was coronavirus, but even before that, they were home. Mm-hmm. They were homeschooled or they did half school. They have just spent a ridiculous amount of time with their parents. And even my own feeling, I'm like, I have spent a ridiculous amount of time with my kids, which is why I say to you, Justin, I really want us to just start doing things yes, me individually, you individually, but us. I think sometimes you think you just want to go and, whatever. You just want to go on vacation. I'm like, no, I want us to do stuff. I want it to be us because at some point, we need to do things for us. We need to be happy as individuals. We need to be happy as a couple so that we can be happy as parents, so that our kids can be happy away from us because this life that they've had is a little bit, I don't want to say sheltered, but they're so used to being with us that when we want to go do something,
it's not a bad thing. I mean,
yeah,
sheltered.
But when we want to go do something, it's like, oh, it's a problem. Or it's like you came in, like I just saw you 5 seconds ago, like where's all my dad? You know, because that's just what they've been used to. And it's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad.
No, I think
we're lucky. Yeah,
I think every parent wants to have their kid glued after them when they walk in the door, and
we're lucky. We're lucky that way.
Well, I don't say that we're lucky. I think we've earned it. I mean, they are that way because we've raised them to be that way, because we've loved them and we've sheltered them in good ways so that they feel loved and they feel complete. They do not feel incomplete. They don't have to look for love anywhere else. So they have it. But, you know, at some point they'll understand that their mom and dad are real people too, more than parents, and that we have difficult days sometimes, difficult days parenting. And I try to let them know, like, you know, what you're doing affects me sometimes. I think if you really knew that, you wouldn't do it as much. That's kind of my point.
I don't think you should bank on that. That's what I'm saying, babe. Like, you're entitled to that feeling, but please don't bank on the understanding from the kids.
I'm not going to bank on it. I'm just going to, like, let them know sometimes I don't want to be around them.
Like I said, you're entitled to that feeling. Trust me, I get it.
I mean, we spent all day, did a couple of videos. It snowed today, had a big snow day outside. Like, I was out there all day with them. And then they came inside, it's like, I was like, oh my God, I don't want to be around you anymore the rest of the day. And then Ava did something that really pissed me off, which she shouldn't have done. And I'm just like, just get away from me. Yeah, and that's how I feel. I have no apology for it.
I think if anybody's being a real parent, they will definitely have those moments, whether they want to admit it or not.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I want to say. I'm done talking, so I just don't want to talk anymore. So...
one of those days for real. Huh?
Yeah. Thanks for being here, guys. I know maybe you can appreciate the realness or not. And sometimes that's what you're going to get. So simple as that.